So, welcome everybody to another episode of The Lonely Wrist. Today we have one half of Furlan Marri. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, hello Blake. How are you? Hello guys.
Good, good. Thanks for coming on. We've been going back and forth for a while trying to get you on. You're a busy guy, so thank you for taking the time.
As- Yeah, especially the end of the year was crazy, so now it's a little bit okay, but it will be more busy and busy, but that's good, huh? It's yeah.
Watches are a busy business, so obviously you're a few months out from releases, and you always have to worry with your working with your suppliers or working with your manufacturing team. I mean, obviously being in the industry, I mean, I see how busy watch guys are. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you for taking
especially
the time.
the December, it's the vacation, the holidays for supplier holidays, and then you have other supplier holidays in January, February, so it's a little bit busy in terms. You need to validate everything for the also the year. So in December, November, so yeah. Mm.
I've noticed. So obviously you and I have been communicating, and I'm going to be in Geneva in about 8 days.
Ah, great.
Um,
Yeah,
Hopefully I'll be able to stop by and see you if you're not in
yeah, yeah.
Australia. Um, but but yeah, so I literally submitted clearance to get filming at all these different manufacturers, these maisons, and everybody was like, "Oh, I submitted it during the holiday period." So I was waiting for people to come back from holiday, and I was sitting at the edge of my seat, like, "Okay, where am I gonna film?" Because we're coming out, we're doing some content with some brands out there. Um, Obviously, we're missing my half of the team here. Justin is had an emergency, and so it's just going to be me and you rocking it out. Justin obviously is our head of the mic. I mean, he's the micro brand guy, and I am kind of the big box brand. I work with the Vacheron and Longa and Panerai and JLC and
Hope it,
but
it will be good.
anyways,
Yeah.
I think I will be able to hopefully fill the shoes, but um, so let's kick it off. Tell us about Furlan Marri. I know it's you and your best buddy. You guys started up the project,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
tell us about the humble beginnings. Tell us how you guys came up with the idea, and tell us where the passion started from.
Mm. So basically, it's been it's the third year now. This year, it's a nice adventure since the beginning. There were many um, release, etc. So we are quite really happy with where it goes. So 2 years ago, we were alone in the to begin the journey together with Hamad, and now we are six people and a little bit more of like consultants as well here in Geneva. So it grows. Like 3 months ago, we were two, and now we are six people. Because there is many things to do in terms of content, design as well, but logistic. There is much more involvement to do and to the work to do. But the beginning, if I need to start from the beginning, so look, I am passionate from watches since 15 years old almost. I wanted to be car designer at the beginning, so I drew a lot of cars, etc. I even did some German school to go to Pforzheim in Germany to maybe have the possibility to do a design school in Germany, a car design school. But also, I was really I appreciate a lot my grandfather watch, which was a Rolex. He never took it off. He didn't want to take it off, except for when I was there to eat the pasta with my grandmother from Italy and him, and he took it off, and I designed and I sketched his watch. So I started to see the details, etc. It was yeah, I was 15 years old. So since that, I really fall in love with the watches as well. I think I was like 12 years old even, but at 15, I wanted to do some. I searched in Geneva to do some internship. So we started that like summer vacation. I did some internship with Hublot. It was Chopin at the beginning, Hublot, and also HD3 Complication. It was with Jörg Isaac, a great designer who did Breguet Marine and HD3 complication. It was an Isaac watch as well. It was there were also Fabrice Gomer, a designer, watch designer, and Valérie, which now lead the Geneva Design School of watches, called the Head in Geneva. And it was great to be in this kind of world, because it's really like um, difficult to enter in this world. It was difficult also. I remember in Basel World, I was sitting there in front of the booth, waiting for people, for the CEO, etc., to go out to from the booth with my CV, with my paper, with my sketch, etc.,
Yeah.
to ask for internship, and it was quite difficult. I remember, but I I get some like about 10 internship in the watch industry. So it was great to be able to sketch, etc., and to meet great people, like people who don't say just go to see in another place, etc. They were really kind, etc., and they gave a chance since the beginning. So I remember Jean-Claude Biver as well. I was like 15 years old. um, I remember yeah, a really small brand called Sarkar with Christian Kamasher is the
Yeah.
lead designer there. Really, really nice guy who just gave the chance to a young student at the beginning. So it has opened my mind to this world, and it was really great to 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 go further in this path, in this way, to 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 be able to sketch again and again, and to try to do my job, you know. Mm, and after the general school, because I didn't do a design school at the beginning, just general school. And then at it was at 15 or 18 years old, no, 18 years old, I did called ECAL, which is a design, industrial design school in Switzerland, in Lausanne, which is great for product design, industrial design. So we did some internship. We had the chance to work with big brands and designer, like really famous designer, actor as well, etc. To this kind of not only design but also photography, graphic design, typography. Um, it was really to dive into this, yeah, into this new world for me. And in my head, I always had this kind of music, the watch industry music in my head. And so it was a great experience also to open my mind to another world, which is the industrial design, which helped me now to design differently, to like more in details, more maybe to not focus in the product, but also think about what is around the product. So with Hamad, we design a lot with sketch by hand. It's not just a computer sketch, but really by hand first, then 2D, 3D, and photography as well, and to think about around the product, packaging experience, etc., everything around. So I think it helped me a lot to start this brand almost alone, in terms of the team. No design agency, no photography agency at the beginning. So yeah, it was great to be more open, in terms of not focus into the watch world first, but to be more open in the beginning. Mm.
So it started with the concept, and then it started with translating that concept into something visual. And then, if I understood you correctly, it sounds like you essentially were kind of bringing that around to get like, hey, here's what I designed, right? Is that accurate? Like, hey, here's the design I want to bring into life. Is
Yeah, we have always with Hamad, we have like few, dozen of projects, and then just we think, we speak a lot, and then we put that on the paper, and we say, okay, not this year for example this project. We have sketched a lot of project for the years to come, like almost 3 to 4 years to come as project. But I know we want to do things really fast, so that's why maybe in less than 3 years we did this kind of things. We could do that because we can do many things internally. For example, the photography, the graphic, to validate things, even some 3D prototyping, etc., rendering, we can do that here. So it's really fast for us to validate a project. But then it was difficult to make it real because we were me alone in Geneva, Ahmad in the Middle East. It was kind of difficult to make each step. There is also the
Right.
logistic behind. It's huge. There is the after sales service. We need to bring something strong. So it's really important, not only the product, but to think about what is around the customer, and then just not that, but to be able to tell a story and to to write and to take care of the community, to build this kind of brand culture. It's really yeah, it's almost more important than the first idea. So um, it was a nice adventure, and yeah, but basically the first we had a project with Ahmad before the our Kickstarter. It was perpetual calendar, very complicated um, things. We were also thinking about just complication, like chronograph, mechanical, etc. But we were a little bit dreaming because it was really expensive with the
Right.
development.
Of course.
So as a student, design student, you don't know this kind of stuff, this kind of the what is the cost, the real cost of things. So and it was COVID because I lived in Asia, in China, for a few months. I came back, and when I came back, COVID hit everyone. So we decided with Ahmad, because we couldn't see each other, we were blocked, like in our countries. I was in my parents' house and in my bedroom. Ahmad also there, and we were thinking like what we do, because it's really yeah, it's really difficult, and so read a lot of book. I read a lot of book about digital, etc. I heard about Kickstarter solution, so dive into that months and months, and to think about this, and to be able to start something digitally. So it was the beginning of the first step was this, and the reflection around this. And obviously, I was super passionate also about vintage watches. I think there is something in the vintage that um,
It's
it's
like charm.
totally different. Yeah, it's really strong. There is stories behind there that you can. It's much more stronger. Like the story with my grandfather. He has a
Of
vintage
course.
Rolex, and for me there is um, a relation, between the product and the people, and what the product, um, gone through. Yeah, maybe there is the wars, etc. There is some going to
Memories.
the ocean memories.
Yeah.
So you can dive into this with just a product. So it was much more stronger for us, and yeah, um, we were we fall in love with the work of François Borgel case maker, because François Borgel case are really interesting, because there is this kind of strong um, design, and yeah, strong design
Shapes,
between shape,
curves.
like
Yeah.
organic shape, but also frustration between organic shape and more straight shape. And it was really interesting to go into this kind of world. And François Borgel made case for Patek Philippe, Movado, made case for other great brands by the past, because yeah, by the past, there was like watchmaker, etc., who and supplier who proposed some of their work, like case, dials, etc., hands to other brands. They were like showing their work, and the brands took sometimes the same dial, same case, same elements. That they were this kind of sharing, sharing this kind of components between people, and it was really interesting to 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 say to ourselves, um, what if we could meet this case maker or hands maker from the past, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, and where we would be today? We would be forgotten. We would be not there anymore, or next to the big brand. So this was the first dream, Hamad and me had. Um, and then we went into this um, Kickstarter journey, like the crowdfunding experience. Um, and yeah, it was we didn't expect this amount of um, of orders. It was
Support.
crazy
Yeah.
support and good support. It was we had really like a good feedback from collectors. So we sent our prototype to the press, the media, the collectors, real collectors, and we said to them, just give us honest feedback. We just want this, and they started to write, and they started to love the product, the quality also of the the the, the shape and the proportion, and especially the details we want to put into our watches. We really um, are mad about proportion and mad about details to give really the people and to explain those kind of details. Like for example, um, you see here there is the little lines here from
Yeah.
the here, and there is here a little angle here and here and here, because by the past the people who made the dials, they stamped the dials, and the ink was going like this. So it was this kind of default we wanted to replicate. People maybe will never see that in their life, but I think the brain will. I don't know. It works. The brain will maybe see that, and there is something to tell about the watch, to dive into dive into the details. We can see also here the teeth of the crown. They are not polished. They are like really like past watches, past um, crown. They were like this, like sharp, harsh,
Like
something like
cuts.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not in a machine. You put the crown and it turns and it's polished by itself. No, and it's better for us. Like in picture, it's really nice. So we are really into this kind of little detail that sometimes we don't mention, but yeah. And we basically begin with that, and we had to fulfill all the orders first. We started the brand in April 2021. Yeah, and the first year we won the GPHT. It was the watch or horological revelation. So for me, it was really important this prize, because it's not, people said to us, yeah, why this brand can win that so fast, etc. Maybe there is something behind, but I wanted to explain to the people also, and to prove to the community and people that it's not just a price, it's something that is really important for us. That's why in the same year, and 2 years after, we came out also with our first idea of complication. So we did this kind of crazy development of this only watch piece auction. So it was a perpetual calendar, and basically it's a super huge development for us as a young brand. So to show also the people that we care about that, and we can go from a mecha quartz line, mechanical line, or we can go into dive into the technical line, which is this kind of affordable complication. And they can see we can also have we protected the module. We made patents. We have another patent pending for another complication. So people like they, yeah, it was an important prize for us, and to prove the other that yeah, it's not just a price like this. It means something for us.
Yeah, I'll tell you my Furlan Marri story. So I literally was I sold luxury brands. I mean, we had Rolex Patek, we had Vacheron, we had Longo, we had Cartier, we had GLC, we had Tudor, we had, Omega, we had Blancpain, we had Breguet. Like, I mean, we had nearly every brand that
Mm,
you'd want to sell. Um, and so, like, I had a weekend off, and it was my birthday, and I took my wife to San Francisco, and there was Wind Up, right? Because I
yeah,
wanted
one
to
that.
get some exposure to some of these smaller brands, brands like you. And as I was walking around, of course, you see a lot of the same stuff from table to table. Like, obviously, coming from high horology, and handling these crazy expensive watches every day, um, there's something that just doesn't do it for me within the micro brand space, you know?
Mm,
And then I stumbled into your table, um, and there was this young lady working there, and you could tell she was like very passionate
and
about
me, yeah,
like
yeah.
about the
Mm,
brand, and she was just, I mean, she was just so excited. Like, you would think like doing these road shows and doing these conventions like in events would just get tiring for people, like talking to the same people, telling the same story, um and trying, to present the same information. But so you at some point you can tell, right? Like, there's people that have been doing this for a long time, and you could tell by how passionate she was just about this. And then, of course, you guys had just one of your watch cases on the
yeah,
table,
yeah, yeah.
and of course it had decoration, like it had
Inside,
the perlage, like literally
yeah.
from head to toe on
Yeah.
the inside of the case.
Mm,
And I was like, holy shit, like if they're polishing like, there's not too many people that polish the inside of the case like that,
mm.
so
No,
respect.
that's why we are a little bit mad about to put these kind of things. People will never see, even
No,
if they do a service, maybe they will see it. But yeah,
no.
we put perlage inside every part of our watches. And also, I came from the high-end watch industry. Camille as well, the young lady, she came from the MBNF and other brands like this. And that's why I think she also has this kind of knowledge about things, and how do you say, how to speak also to from collectors to young passionate people. And we have the same language, the same yeah, language, and we just talk about this by passion. And this kind of things, you can see that kind of things from the high-end watch industry. The people who work there, they are really on the onto details, into details. So we try to, yeah, to be like if we were with collectors in front of us, or yeah, people who are passionate. So we try to just be ourselves in front of people.
that that's something that, like, obviously, like, we have a YouTube channel, and so obviously people love to voice their opinions on the internet, and that's something that, you can't show. Like, you can't you like once you put a watch in your hand and like put it on your wrist, like, it's a way different experience. That's never translated across the internet or across YouTube or whatever. Um, I mean, and immediately, I felt like I was holding an insanely expensive watch, and I'm sorry, I have to say it out here loud, but for what I feel, a lot of people look at, they have this weird sense of like, okay, like, you're using Le Jeu de Paris movements, and
Hmm.
then here's how much your watch is, here's how much your movement costs, and here's how much your watch is. And then people have this weird kind of like, oh well, a 3,000 euro watch or whatever and is using a $200 movement. Like, why? And then you get people that are just like, shh, like, I mean, you know how it is. But
Yeah.
um, I will say that I was highly impressed with what I put my hands on. Um, I mean, especially considering, like I said, I handle, um, I mean, hundreds of watch. I was handling hundreds of watches a day. You know, Patek. I mean, everything, right? Um, and that's how you guys stood out. Like most micro brands, they just look at, here's the design. How can we get this design, this look, into the cheapest possible package? So that way we can sell a shit ton of them. You know,
Mm.
you're if it seems like your process is a lot different. You're like, here's the design. How can we not cut any corners? Like you're taking the opposite
How we
spectrum.
can push? Yeah. Yeah.
How can we here's how much we think it's going to cost probably. Like here's how can we pack as much punch into this price point, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of other brands think that. Like um and I personally I want to get my hands on a salmon sector. Like that is going to be a watch that I'm going to get at some point in the future. Um, Unfortunately, my wife won't let me buy watches right now. so,
Uh,
so, um, but yeah, I applaud you. You guys are doing a great job. I'm very impressed. I
but
will
these kind
say
of
that.
things, you want to we want to push the limits of yeah, just to give more to people. Me, maybe I'm like I want to give even more. If I could do like to give a watch for everyone, I would do it because it's my maybe too much kindness, but I really want to work and to yeah to share that kind of patient for everyone. So that's why also we put much more in terms of production cost. We put much more. For example, the hands are curved, they are domed. They're it's not like we don't choose from supplier catalog. We design, we sketch, and we do this kind of hands. We CNC machine the hands, mirror polish, the index as well, double or triple print the dial. The stamping on this salmon sector is not just painted like this, it's a laser tooling, and then we stamped the dial, so it's much more complicated. There is a sapphire crystal, like we don't put one layer, we put 5 layers of anti-reflection. We These kind of things that um, we, we want to, yeah, to, it costs a lot, this kind of things. So,
Of course.
um, and there are cases and there are cases that really, if you want to go into yeah, into the details, yes, there is a cost, but I think that's why we're also digital because we can propose these kind of things at a nice cost for us for people. But
What
also it's difficult to go into the retail sometimes because of the
what
margin.
Yeah, I mean, as a smaller brand like yourself, like you don't have a lot of distribution. Like the
No.
distribution takes nearly 10 times, 20 times, decades of that. I mean, you're just not going to get distribution, right?
Yeah,
So,
we begin now because we feel that people needs to see the
of
watches
course.
as well. So we are getting in touch with key people, and we will have some a lot not much more not much retail place, but some of them yes for people to see, and also in the future like we have a showroom in Geneva. We'll open also other showroom, but yeah, we are young. We also it's been 2 years now, so it's only the third year. We need to also step down a little bit sometimes, and the team also tell me slow down a little bit um,
Yeah.
to yeah because I want to do many things in that short period of time. This is me, and Ahmad as well wants to. He came with ideas every day. I say, okay, let's put here, let's focus on that because, yeah. But yeah, I think it's great what we did in 3 years for a honest perspective, my personal point. But yeah, I think there is much more to do and much more also to prove and to give to the community and people. Yeah.
What's your favorite timepiece that you guys have produced so far? I know it's a hard question, but
Mm. Um,
maybe
yeah, I
it's
really, yeah, I
the
love the Nero Sabia, the one counter mecha quartz, because
mhm.
it has this kind of retro elegance, but also a little bit of adventure inside. And I like this because I really like also to go out in the mountain in Switzerland to run to do these kind of things, but also to I like the frustration you can have between two things. So there is this kind of adventure sport things feel and this kind of elegant shape. So this is interesting for me, and I really love the salmon sector because this salmon color takes really good the light. And
It's my
I
favorite.
love all the watches for sure, but if I wanted to choose two of them, would be this kind of yeah
And
this one,
those
and
are
then the next one we will come the next one to come. Um, in about a few months now. I'm really um, excited to present this project and also the only watch piece we have done. So the module of we will do the perpetual calendar module for the public as well. So this is
oh
yeah. So we are a lot we work a lot on this because it's very difficult to simplify something. It's very complex to simplify. So that's why there is only 20 components in the perpetual calendar module. Normally there is hundreds of components. So we are making some tests currently, and we have some prototypes as well. Prototype we have machined the prototype, and we will be able to propose this for the public as well in the future.
wow.
In this year.
When I come to Geneva next week, you're gonna show me some, right?
Ah yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, come
Love it.
and we'll show you some of the next project as well, and
Love it.
around a coffee.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Um, so our podcast is really unique in the sense that we're not a watch podcast, and here we are talking
Hmm.
about watches,
Yeah.
but a lot of our customers or a lot of our listeners um kind of come back and kind of spun this on me. So we get really, really, really a lot of great feedback from our listeners because not only are they watch nerds, but
Hmm.
they're creator like designers, they're
That's perfect. Yeah.
entrepreneurs, um, and we talk a lot about design in our podcast. Like we talk about like design elements and concepts and planning. So what does that look like for Furlan Marri? Like what is the design process? You know, obviously an
Hmm.
idea starts, right? And then how
Hmm.
does it go from there? Like how does it that idea end up in a
Yeah.
watch? Like what is that for you
Yeah.
guys?
So first, as it's like my student time. You first sketch. Now it's more and more difficult because the school, the modern school of design, they don't teach how to sketch. It's not these kind of things tend to be a little bit cancelled. There is not so much people who learn how to sketch by hand, and it's a little bit sad because when I was at school, I could see also people who sketch only on the computer, and for me, I couldn't do it. It was my father sketches a lot. He was sketch. How do you say technical designer.
Like a drawer?
So yeah, he sketches a lot by hand, and this kind of process is really nice for and really interesting for us. Ahmad as well sketch more on the iPad, sketch really well, and me it's more with the pen like this, and then we put that on the computer like 2D. On the like Illustrator or on this kind of software, I like after that to make it in 3D and to see in 3D on the with the 3D rendering CGI software how it works, how it looks like in the in the in a, an environment, you know. digital, but you can see how the light will go, etc. On the shape. You can test a lot of things before going to into the the production, the prototype stage. So after that, we say to our supplier if they can do some prototype. So we first do prototype of dials. So it's our first test to see the the details, to see the finish, to just validate the next step. So after that, we do another dials. For other dials, we order Pantone color, for example, with different finish, but more in depth. First, it was the test to validate the shape, the proportion, and then we do another test. It's more a test of finish, a prototype, a finishing prototype, to see if we agree on the finish. And then we do the same with the case. So first we do some case, and now the supplier they know our standard as well, so they really know how to do and to they make beautiful case as well. But it's hard because it's not only them. Then we need also to we go into this how do you say when we receive some prototypes in the case prototype, we change everything. We change a lot of things with Ahmad. We go into the with the loop, etc. We validate all the things and we go further and further each every time. So it's not basically the sometimes the supplier results. It's also our work here with the team to go and to push some limits as well, to go even further. And after that, we make some prototypes like called um, it's a finished prototype if you want, so ready to be sold if you want. And we give those prototype. We shipped those prototypes to some photograph, the press, the media, and also collectors. And we receive the feedback, honest feedback, really critical, and to see if the first impression, And then in the meantime, we do some picture shooting, etc., of details of the process because it's really important to shoot all the process. It can give like free marketing stuff because you can then tell a story with that kind of things. It's really important for us. And after that, we we like to give a name to each watch, for example, as a reference. And also we like to write like a scenario for example, a movie. And we try to say to ourselves, okay, if this watch was in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 60s, what will be her story? And then we write this down and we try to do some other video shooting, movie, etc. And then we make a pre-order. We like to do pre-order session on the website. It was really interesting to do this in the beginning of the journey because you can take the temperature and for a brand, for a product, and you can feel if the product is approved or not approved, etc. And you can also feel the excitation of the people. And it's very important for a young brand because you don't overstock, overproduce. So we
Of
don't
course.
like to do this. And there is no waiting list. We hate that. So I am also on waiting list since 5 years for other brands. So what I wanted to do is like a pre-order, and you make 10 days pre-order. On those 10 days, you can accept all the order you want. So we can have 100, 2,000, 5,000. We had the 5,700, even more orders in 10 days. And then we stop the order session and people have to wait, but for a good reason. They know they will have a watch. We try now because with a little bit of cash flow, we can now produce in advance the case and the glass. So we produce some case and glass to lower the waiting time of the on the watch because the case and the glass takes a lot of time. That's why we try to do this now if we can.
So obviously, you guys are. Let's step back, and I mean the process is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's the type of information that people see a watch on the internet, and then they're just like, oh, okay. They look immediately
Mhm.
at, like we talked about, the movement and then the
Yeah,
cost, and those are the two things they look at. Um, so I think it's really important to understand that there is time, there is energy, there is care, there is detail, there is love that goes into these watches, and people don't ever give you money for those things, right? They
no,
don't.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
shame. Um, but obviously, you guys are 3 years old. You're a baby in the watch industry,
Hmm. Yeah,
but you've already won the GPHG, which is amazing. Congratulations. Um,
thank you.
Obviously, when you go back and you tell your story to my listeners, like it sounds almost like a dream story, right?
Yeah,
Almost
it was
like
unexpected. Yeah, really unexpected.
yeah,
To From the beginning, we had zero. The marketing budget was zero. We started with nothing. We In the Kickstarter, we a lot of people told us, you will not be able to do it. It will not work because you need money for the marketing. You need almost 100K to reach this kind of amount on Kickstarter. And we just said, okay, let's do it. Maybe with a nice story, with a nice attention to detail, because we this is our core sentence. It's our DNA. It's crafted with care, designed for details, and this is our true our four words. For us, we will stick to that for the future, no matter the type of collection. The Mecha Quartz have the same finish. The Mecha Quartz line has the same finish as the mechanical line and the technical line. Obviously, the development and the movement are really different, but they share the same element. It's consistent. There is no, okay, we want to do volume, so we lower down the cost here. This we No, it's the same. And we try also to use like a circular um, mind. So, for example, with the movement, we use the same movement in the mechanical line as the technical line. The module of the perpetual calendar is developed for the La Jouperet movement. That's why we can also order more volume, or we can play if we want to do more on the mechanical line this year, and then the next year a little bit. We keep those movements for the technical line. We change some finish, etc. But it's this kind of thinking process we want to have. Um, yeah, these kind of things.
tell us about some of the. Obviously, starting a watch brand is not easy, right? I mean,
Mm.
your story, like I said, is like a dream fairy tale story, but something that nobody really talks about, and our viewers love to hear, our listeners and viewers, whatever, um, is obviously you guys have faced probably a ton of challenges that you never talk about. They don't make it to your marketing. They don't make it to your website. Tell
Yeah,
us about some of the setbacks you guys have had,
yeah.
some of the challenges you've had, and tell us, how you worked through them.
So the first things, but honestly, we had some chance because we choose the right supplier, the right logistics supplier, and also for the after sales service. I was into I search in Facebook. I search like a after sales service group, and I asked my question, and the feeling was better with this kind of company. So we went with them, and they're actually the same company we work with since the
Wow.
beginning. Same, we didn't change. So we had some change, but yes, the problem and the issue we had, it's that in Switzerland, not so much people made a Kickstarter into the watch brand. There is a lot of big brands, etc., and they don't really knew how it works online. So we had to, I had to learn a lot about, a Shopify website, about, I had to read a lot of books to how to do this, how to do that, podcast about Kickstarter
Right.
journey, people, experience. And this is something you are right. We have to share also this for the young people. I sometimes go to the design school in Geneva, and I share that with the students. the students came here, all the class they came and they asked the question. I told them, I tell them what is the issue we faced. For example, the logistic is really important. People think that it's a nice idea, nice story. It will say by itself, and then you have to ship it. So how do you ship it with all the custom and online custom? You need a DHL, FedEx account. You need to call them. You need to do all these kind of things and to calculate those costs before you do the Kickstarter. And a lot of people they don't um, make this kind of process, so that's why they face a financial issue after the Kickstarter. I discussed with some of the people. They didn't think they could do it because of the logistic issue, the cost, the extra cost you can have after you have your campaign succeed. For example, the packaging, it's nice to have a box, but then you have to do another box to secure, to do
Right.
the DHL box as well. This has a cost. It's okay, it's 1 Swiss francs, etc. But there is a cost that add, and especially the custom tax and duties, because online now more and more people they are aware of that. But if you don't mention that to the website or on the terms in the website or in the Kickstarter page, you can have some problems because people they don't know how it works, and especially in Europe. When I was in China or in USA, this kind of things it's now inside the
Yeah.
mind of people, but it's tricky, and yes, it's a surprise when you receive a watch and you have to pay extra cost of duties. So we try to also find solution about that. But yes, for example, India, it's 48 or 60% tax, so it's super, super huge. Mexico, Brazil, I don't know, but it's huge. So yeah, these kind of things I try also to share with people. I'm open to any discussion if people wants to come to us to ask question about issue, or if they have a new project to share and to launch. If they want to discuss with us about anything, we are really open and to answer. Yeah,
That's what the watch community is about. Like our last podcast, we had the founder of a watch club in Atlanta, the Atlanta Watch Society, um, and we talked about there the future of watch brands will be through clubs. Like you'll approach a
yeah,
club and say, "Hey, here's what I want to do," and then the discussions will happen among the members of the clubs, and then they'll kick you. Like it's like obviously now to get feedback you have to dispatch a watch to somebody like me or
hmm,
somebody like another YouTuber or whatever. Then they give you one set of feedback, right? Like, hey, here's what I would think about this watch, right? But if you go to a watch club where they have 200 members, 300 members,
yeah,
they would literally go to a meeting with all their members and say, look, hey, here's one watch, right? And you got feedback from 300 people with
yeah,
just one watch.
yeah,
So we talked a lot about that in the last podcast, and so we think the future of the industry is changing because when you're supporting the community, at the end of the day, like it's a transaction, right? Like we recognize what you're doing. We see that you're supportive of our hobby, of the community, and then that translates back to sales, to growth, right?
and people are more aware of these kind of things now, and since now years, but they are more educated about finish, about movement, about everything about watch industry. People in the watch industry needs to be transparent, needs to not I would not say lie, but they need to say the truth about things, and to
Of
also need
course.
to say to be serious in their approach and to give right information. So this and yeah, and people from the community, the groups, they are way more aware and than sometimes some sellers,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we talked about that too because they're at the end of the day, when you're in a sales role, right? Like I was, there's certain times where you just have to sell a watch. Like I've been in situations where like it's been a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks where I haven't sold a
Hmm.
single watch. So I'm just like, what do I do? Like, obviously I had, expensive watch to sell. Um, but you come to that decision where it's like, do I do the right thing or do I just say what I need to say to
Yeah.
sell a watch?
Hmm.
And yeah, it was a really conflicted time for me because I was probably the most honest person where when somebody would come in and say, "Hey, I want to buy this watch," I'd be like, "Dude, you don't want to buy that watch. Like, don't do that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you shouldn't spend your money on that. Like, if you say, "Hey, look, here's how much money I have to spend on a watch," I will show you the best value that you can get for your money, in terms
Yeah.
of decoration, technical accomplishment, heritage, prestige, whatever, right? Um,
Hmm.
and so I was the worst at that, but I also was a pretty decent salesperson. Um, but yeah, transparency is something that you don't necessarily see. Like when you put yourself in the situation to say, "Hey, look, here's the watch, here's the product, right? Here's the timepiece." Um, yeah, just let us know what you think. Like people respect that so much instead of saying, "Hey, like just give me your money." Like, "Hey, like
Yeah.
I'm not
Totally.
going to send you any watches till you send me money," or you know what I mean? Like it's this weird dynamic that needs to disappear.
Yeah.
And there's brands now like before you even see a watch, you have to put a deposit down. You know, and obviously it's just a weird industry. Um, but I know we're running out of time here, so I've got a few more things I want to check off with you. Um,
Yeah.
Something that's really interesting to me is the Furlan Marri assembly experience.
Oh, very interesting. You tell about that. You
I
ask about that.
I did some of my homework, right? That's very important as a podcaster to do some homework. Um, so tell us about this concept and tell us about this experience that you guys
Mm.
are doing.
We had always I wanted to yeah to the people knows more and more about our internal finish and how it looks like, etc. Even the makeup quartz is finished like this with perlage inside, but you cannot assemble your makeup quartz, so we try to do this only with the technical line and mechanical line, and it was super important for us to propose this kind of new experience that I think didn't exist before. I didn't see that you can go into a boutique and say, I want to assemble this Tissot, I want to assemble this Longines, can I assemble this Vacheron Constantin? It's a little bit weird, but super interesting in terms of it's very powerful because you make this kind of souvenir with the watch, with the product, and then you don't really want to sell. You don't really want to sell a watch that you assemble with your grandfather or your father, or this kind of relation between the product. And we had always this in mind because 3 years ago um, we wanted to do this kind of experience in the future. So that's why we always finish this kind of we put this kind of finish inside our watches because then people will be able to see that and to talk about this um, with their friends into a collector's dinner. I don't know, and we have now more and more people who ask for this experience. So we launched this experience last year in Geneva. If someone wants to assemble their watch, we have on the website now we have a page. We explain the process. It's not so much more expensive than a watch. It's a little bit more. We work with a partner that do this kind of assembling experience called Initium in Geneva. They are located next to Recepi and Acrivia company in the old town of Geneva. And they are a great team of also they are open minded. This was super important because I asked that with other people. They said, no, doesn't, it's not interesting, etc. And those kind of people, they are really like open mind and they want to develop this with us. So we will develop that in New York, in Paris, Tokyo, Seoul, etc. Um, in the future. It's a little bit difficult in terms of logistic because you need to ship a lot of things. But we will work with after sales service um, companies and after sales service studio in town, in cities, to be able to use the space as well. So it's interesting for me to for for them to open this kind of their space because it was only for service and now they think about, oh, it can be interesting to even um, no welcome or clients, welcome customer in our spaces, and then in the future they can even, yeah, we can even do their service, etc. So there is, it's interesting for us to develop that, yeah, and we will do more and more project with this kind of idea.
It's a great concept because most people, when you buy your watch, you have no emotional connection to it, to a
Yeah,
degree, right? You
yeah,
love the design, you know, you feel like it complements your collection, the price is right, whatever, right? Whatever the reason
yeah,
these people
yeah,
have. But then after you get the watch on your wrist is where you start to build memories like, hey, I had gotten married with this watch, or, you know, I wore it to, you know, my first whatever, like
yeah,
my daughter's wedding or whatever, right? Insert, you know, memorable time here. But the fact is, you're giving people these important moments and memories with the watch before it even leaves the door of the factory,
yeah.
which is an insane thing to
Mm.
think about.
And what is super touching is that like yesterday I had a message on Instagram. A couple wants to, a young lady wants to offer his her future husband this experience. It's the wedding gift. It's
Yeah.
super touching for us, you know. And
Yeah, yeah.
and they can just do that. It's 3 hours. It's not like a day of
Of
into a
course.
company, into a manufacturer, which is super interesting. But you have 3 hours and you left with the watch on you. You leave with the watch on your wrist, and you have like a mini course classroom with a watchmaker that worked actually with Audemars Piguet, and our like initial team is really great about that. And they make some picture, they make memories, and at the end of the day or the morning, you have the croissant the morning or a little wine, etc. in the afternoon. It's nice. You can do that in other place, other city. You can use. Yeah, we will do that in a museum in Qatar as well. In the future, interesting to merge this kind of experience, moments, sharing, but also you can use the different space to make connection between, for example, art or culture with the watch. There is many parallel and bridge
Yeah.
you can think about.
I love that. I'm so glad that you're doing something like that. This is what we need as a watch industry nerd. Um,
Thank
so
you.
tell me, I mean, we briefly talked before the recording, um, and obviously, you know, you don't have to answer this question, but tell us what you guys are working on, and you know, if you can give us a taste of what to expect from the brand within the next few
Yeah.
months.
Mm.
Like
The-
here's your floor to
mm.
do so.
So we will continue. We will have now. It was important for us to make to develop three clear lines in the brand. So it's lines. It's our collection. You have the Mecha Quartz line. You have the mechanical line, and you have the technical line. People are aware of that now. They can see clearly where they want to go, and they can see there is um, no how do you say, the same finish around the lines. And it's interesting because it's like a 30 60 degree brand. Young passionate people can have amica quartz, but they can also have a technical or perpetual calendar if they want. So we can we go into, it's a brand where you can have this kind of choice, in terms of the complication, but also more affordable watches. And what's interesting is that we have as customer like very important collectors. They have also make quartz when they travel, etc. They are really happy with their watch. But we have also young customer, very young people. They just want to enjoy a nice watch. Um, so this was the first thing important to say. Next things is that we had um, our first retailer, which is Time Tide in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we were in Australia, and we we introduced with them our new. It's called the Furlan Marri editions, which is you will see on the dial of the. It's not. It's interesting because the editions will be here to not frustrate the community. That means those editions will be available only on our retailer space. For example, if we have a retailer in France, we have the Furlan Marri France editions, Furlan Marri US edition, or Australian editions. And once a year or twice a year, there will be all the Furlan Marri editions will be available on the website for everyone. So the people will not uh, go and travel and or all the struggle with the supplier, the retailer to ask them for a piece, etc. We will have a batch available of like 1 week a year or 1 week twice a year. And it's interesting because it will be shipped from us directly to the customer. But over the year, all over the year, it will be available from our retailers. So it's this kind of thing we wanted to introduce because we had a comment also on Instagram, like we did a piece for our glass watches of Switzerland in Singapore, a bronze case, and a lot of people were frustrated to not be able to have this watch online. It was like a limited edition to a retailer. The retailer was really nice because he shipped also the watches worldwide. It was nice, and we had some customers fly who fly from Saudi Arabia to Singapore just for a $600 watch. So just to have this limited edition, and they just we had some comments like this online and feedback. So we had this idea of introducing the preliminary editions. I think it's interesting because you can yeah, you can have this kind of yeah. Imagine the Furlan Marri editions week where you can have access to the retailer editions once or twice a year and available for everyone um, in some batch. This was concept we introduced as well. We will continue the Furlan Marri experience, assembling experience worldwide. We will try to do one or two more cities in 2024. We have like the perpetual calendar for the public to develop as well. We have already the prototype, but we need to test a lot and to make it sure everything is perfect. Um, this is a huge step for us to go because it's really this kind of we are surrounded by passionate people and technical people as well. Friends, watchmaker, Dominique Renault as well, and Julien Tixier who developed this idea. I worked with Dominique Renault 4 years on a very complicated watch, 4 years with him. That's why we have this kind of friendship connection, close connection
Right.
now. So we came up with this perpetual calendar as well. Um, and we have many more projects like on the permanent collection to for more choice for the people. I know it's been 3 years, so yes, it's very it's how do you say it's very short period to
Of
make a
course.
new choice for people, but we will do it as well. We like now I sketch with Ahmad some new prototypes, so it will be available this year hopefully, and a
Amazing.
few more surprise. Yeah,
I am excited. 3 years and you guys are getting ready to drop a perpetual calendar. Crazy.
thank you,
Um,
bro.
And so the final question, how do you see Furlan Marri in the next decade? Like, where do you envision the brand going?
Um, in good shape and health because it's
Okay.
difficult to, like almost 12 hours a day. Like now, I need some sleep, but um, obviously, this kind of to engage with more with people, to more with the community, to be able to be the same, to be close to people, even if we have a digital presence, we need to work on this. Um, and to develop the three lines, the three clear lines we have with interesting project collaboration, but also not so much choice. It's like in our restaurants for us, you don't need that kind of thick menu. You just need a one or two page and then changing over the season, etc. Like some signature plates, etc. We are like this, so we will not. We will stick to that and we'll try to stick really to this kind of um, yeah path vision and yeah to develop the team as well um, and to make interesting project for everyone to in the education more and more into the education field but also the yeah this kind of thing.
Amazing. Look forward to seeing it. Um, that's all I really had for today. Is there anything that you wanted to speak about that we didn't cover during this podcast?
I think it was pretty
Pretty
general, clear,
concise.
and
Yeah.
yeah, very, yeah, I really liked it.
I just wanted to give you the opportunity to say something because sometimes people come on here and they have something they want to talk about and they're like, "Hey, like, is there like, are you gonna let me say something that I want to say?" So I made it
Right,
a
right.
habit
I
to
like
ask.
that you talk about the design process as well, and also the issue people can face, the brands, etc. Can the brands the issue that brands can face. This needs to be more and more you know discussed. It's important.
That those are the most important aspects of purchasing watches as a watch collector. Like, we are obsessed with the details. Like, if I didn't care about a quality watch, I wouldn't buy a watch at all. Like, I would just
Yeah,
go buy a Timex or what. I may not even have a watch. I may just have an Apple Watch. But if we don't care about the details and the assembly and the creative aspects of watches, like, why are we in this hobby for the first place? You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And that's my take on it. So,
Good
well,
take.
anyways, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm so glad to take some time to talk to you. Um, we were going back and forth for a while. Scheduling was hard,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Thank you so
I
much,
look
Black,
for.
and come to. You are more than welcome to come to Geneva.
I will be there in 8 days at your
Perfect.
doorstep. So thanks for coming on. Thanks so much for listening. Drop a comment. Let us know how you think, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, guys.